My today guest, Viktoria Kharlamova, quitted Miro and became growth advisor and PM's mentor. She started working an average 15 hours per week and has managed to visit 8 new countries in 2023. If you are interested in how she designed her work and life, continue watching. I'm Juliana. I'm documenting my product management career in tech. If you're passionate about your career and eager to navigate your challenges, don't forget to subscribe. Let's navigate together. Hello everyone! Today my guest is Vicky, who quitted Miro and became product advisor in PM Mentors. She started working an average 15 hours per week, and she managed to visit 8 countries in 2022. And so I'm super curious how she did it. So today we will speak with her. Hello, Vicky.
Hi, everybody. Nice to be here today.
Yeah, thanks for joining today with me and be ready to share your experience. And let's start from your introduction. Could you tell more, please, about you?
So, hi, everybody. Again, I'm Viktoria Kharlamova, and for more than 5.5 years, I've been working at Miro. I've been the first growth product manager. I've been leading the whole funnel, like activation, retention, monetization, and virality. And after my 5.5 years of Miro, I decided to leave the company and become a kind of like full-time growth advisor and product manager's mentor. Previously, I've been also working as a growth advisor, but more on a part-time, on the project-based. Now I'm working with companies around the world, help them grow the key metrics, implementing product-led growth, including like onboarding, driving product-led acquisition, as well as like improving business model, to help them to drive revenue in an ecological manner by improving user experience and providing more value to the users. So just as an example, like in the last 3 years, a little bit more than 3 years, I've been working with more than 25 different companies, from AI, from productivity tools like analytics and other spheres, and help them to hire product managers, set up growth teams and product teams from scratch, improve growth processes, and drive key metrics with a focus on revenue.
And could you tell more about your personal life? So how it changed, what have you done about your travel, maybe spending time with your family?
Sure. So I always was the travel lover, and I really want to travel to every country in the world by one day. Now I've been to 47 countries as far as I remember, and the next plan is New Zealand. So overall, I always want to create kind of like life vision when there is no separate vision for the work and for the life. So you could just live your life, develop your skills, like where are you the best at, helping companies around the world, and also like spending a lot of time with your family, having like a lot of other stuff doing besides work that is helping you to develop yourself to enrich your experience. That's why I think that I decided to quit the full-time job, just because I realized that it's not something that is fitting with my life vision. And that's definitely not something that is helping me to get the most out of my knowledge, out of my experience, and out of what I get from the beginning. I really love snowboarding, wake surfing, and other stuff. And I also do love to practice it every day. So it's also a really important part of my work-life balance.
Yeah, and also I would like to add that Vicky loves to, I guess, learn something new, like diving or maybe something about keynotes. Yeah, you like learning news, and it's super inspiring.
Thank you. I would add here that when we have this, when we assume learning as a long life journey, it's something that really helps you to be in a specific state when you're always ready for the changes and you're ready to accept these changes, to change yourself based on that. And at least for me, that is something that is helping me to be more happy about my life and feel that I'm getting the most out of that.
Thanks a lot for sharing an overview of your life and work. And before we start discussing your growth advisor experience, I would like to know your reasons. I've heard that first reason why you quitted Miro was that it doesn't correlate with your principles, life principles. But I know that before to quit it, you wanted to be a people manager, maybe kind of product lead, or am I mistake?
That was just the most obvious journey for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, there are two paths, as far as you know, that is communicated everywhere. So you could
Yeah.
go and dive deeper into individual contributor role when you're becoming more professional into that. And that was my journey at Miro. And there is another like more obvious part, like path when you could go into the people management and go into people lead, like head of growth and further and further. And I really wanted to move into that direction. The only thing that I knew is that you have a lot of operational work that is not developing you on any full-time job. So that's how I see it. And in order to get the most out of, again, like my experience, and in order to share my knowledge a lot and get great outcomes that I want to, I really understood that this operational stuff is getting a lot of energy, but it's not producing any development for me. So just for example, one of the biases that I had before, that in order to grow fast, as a professional, as a person, you really need to work super hard. Like it's not about 8 hours per day, it's much more. But I would say that after moving to advising, and like quitted my full-time job, I realized that it was a real bias, because in order to develop yourself as a professional, in order to learn fast, it's not about like the number of the hours, but it's a lot about what kind of work you're doing and how rich your experience are becoming from that.
Agree. I guess you chose how to say, not like individual contributor, but you decided to develop yourself in growth, product management, and that's why you chose it. I understand. Yeah.
I would also add here that just not, so as I mentioned before, there are two main paths. So you could go into individual contributor path, and there is another of like people manager. But when I was thinking about which path I wanted to go, nobody was talking about advising paths. So it's something that I identified more like by myself, by talking with people, by seeing that there are different people. There are not a lot of them, but who are working as advisors for a long time period. And they also like producing great outcomes for different companies. So that was kind of the example for me. And coming back to the reasons why I decided to move into advising, it was like, it wasn't the first step that I took after like leaving Miro. I was still trying to got some offers. And when I got these offers, I just realized that it's definitely not something that I want to go with. It's not the way that I'm happy with. So I decided to try to find another options. Another thing that was my I would say as like another reason why I decided to leave the full-time job was the question about the freedom to work from any place that I want to, like the number of hours that I want to, like spend time a lot of with my family, be the boss for your time and be the boss for the development that you want to get. And there is also like freedom to organize my life the way I want to, and develop more, like just as an example. So what I've seen when I've been working at Miro, I also like in the parallel had 1 or 2 consulting projects that didn't took a lot of time, like it's about like 1 to 3 hours per week. And what I realized that in my last years at Miro, that I'm getting more development from them. That was also an insight for me.
Yeah. And area is my higher working in consulting. Yeah. It's a great insight. You're super reflect what you do. And I guess it's a super great your habit or kind of or your character that you can reflect on what you do and what you like. Because I'm starting thinking right now I'm working in the full time, and I also understand that I can ask my manager and work on the projects which I love. But for me, super inside that area, like ROI of your advising is more higher than ROI in working your full time?
It really depends on the experience you have. It really depends on how much time you're in the company. So as soon as I've been working at Miro pretty long, that was a really like amazing growth at first, like 3-4 years. And afterward, which is like pretty obvious, it's becoming less. At the same time, I think that there are a lot of so with this development, there is coming a lot of responsibility, which you also need to take into consideration because it's also a lot of operational stuff, but it's different on the advising path. And you could also like delegate it. You could also manage it in different ways in comparison with a full time.
Yeah, but full time is more kind of suitable. You feel you you feel safe. And did you have fears about you changing within Miro?
Sure. I think that I've had a lot of them, just a
And
lot. So just imagine that I've been working into one company for more than 5 years. It's pretty obvious what I'm doing, and it's what I really worried the most about is that I won't be able to have enough clients. I won't be able to develop the way that I want to and learn new skills, develop myself as a growth like advisor in this journey. I also was worried about the money. So if I have enough of them by the time, because it's okay that in the first like several months it was not the same amount that I had before, but still I really want to create more clear future and clear plans. And it's not possible. It wasn't possible by that time. But what I really found out that everybody is comparing their part-time engagement on an advising basis as with full-time. And there are two really big differences for that. The first one is that it's not differences, it's rather like you're mentioning that full-time is more safe, but it's just something that we are familiar with. So it's not about safe because there are a lot of companies that are closing, that do not get investments, and you have just one bet.
yes.
But when you're working with different clients, for sure you're taking care about your reputation. There are a lot of like other stuff, but still you're diversify all your income streams, and that's also something that is even more safe. It's the thing that I remember that one of the advisors or some person that is working on a solopreneur mention. It's called on the full time that you're like you have a predictable income, but it's also not cool because you cannot like move much higher of that.
I agree. It's a great definition of full time, predictable income, but not unpredictable. A lot of layoffs right now, and you just lose your income.
I'm not going to say that full time is not something that is bad. It's
Yeah.
great because you could focus on one product. You could really learn a lot of stuff, and you could grow as a person and as a professional. But I think that the main idea here is that all we are different people, and every person need to understand what is working best for her or for him, and has ability to see all the options that they have, even if they are hidden a little bit.
I know one of my acquaintances work in the big tech companies in the top level positions, and she's good with it because big company can give you resources, can give you like I know brand name. So for somebody, it might be a great opportunity.
For the brand names, I would also mention that there are a lot of advisors who are working with big companies as well. So it's also something that could be compared about this point. Yeah, I think that there are like thousands of different pros and cons for both options. You just need to try and choose what's working best for you.
Okay, so I understand that you created a clear future of your advising work.
It's not something that I created from the beginning because I decided to test it out for 6 months. After that, on this journey, I also I'm in a therapy with my psychologist for more than 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and she really helped me a lot on this journey by providing some like some thoughts that maybe I will need more time than 6 months, maybe I need like 1 year or more, because there are a lot of like points that I need to organize well, such as like client base, such as like everybody is knowing that I'm the person who's working, and also like started creating my portfolio of the cases. And I decided to make it 6 months. After that, I felt this freedom, and I realized that it's definitely something that I want to try to follow, like no matter what will be happening after. And decided to focus a lot on the like content creation, providing the best value that I could get to my clients. And as soon as before, I also invested into that when I've been as a full-time employee at Miro. So I've been like trying to develop my professional brand. I was already working as an advisor like for a smaller time period and like just project engagement for like a couple of hours per week, but still it was a base. And that's also something that really helped me to dive into this journey like in a more safe manner.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. It will not always safe because it's a stress, because you change your work
It's
life.
still stress. It's
Yeah,
still
still.
yes.
Uh, and my final question in this blog, speaking about money, because again, in the full time, you have predictable income. In the self-entrepreneur, it's I guess you can make it more predictable, but it's not the same as a full time. Did you have some trips, I don't know, tips which helps you to deal with this money stress, money stuff?
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, it's like having a lot of diversified sources of money. That is something that is helping you to predict them better. Another one is that you have like uh, money that are helping you to live like for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. For me, it's like safe for 5 years. So that's the time when I feel safe. It's also about so the point here is that when the client started working with you, in case everything is going well and you're providing enough value and getting the most out of this collaboration for them, that is something that's always make them keep working with you. So just as an example, the clients that I'm working right now, there are a couple of them who are new, but the majority of them, I would say that more than the half, these are the clients that have been working for like 6 months, 1 year, or something like that. So that's also is something that is making it predictable. Because as soon as you're providing the value on the regular basis, they see it in the business outcomes, that the product is growing, that the product manager is like providing better outcomes to the business. That's something that is working great and also helping you. Another thing is that content creation, it's not my best part, I would say right now. So it's something that I really need to develop more in this year, and I'm focusing on that right now. So when you're providing a lot of like free content on a regular basis, and that is something that is valued by the clients and helping them to improve their product experience, like grow their products or do any other task that they want to, that's also something that is creating credibility for you and
Mm-hmm.
also like creating like more predictable incomes for you.
Mm-hmm. So content is a part of your first funnel, like first step of the funnel, like
Uh,
clients can
on
know.
one hand, yes, I say it differently. So the content is the supportive part.
Mhm.
The best thing that is generating the clients is like when somebody's sharing references about me or like somebody recommend me. Recommendations is a king.
Mhm.
That's the main point. But at the same time, content could be also like because when the client have a lot of like different touch points with you, that could be content, that could be different people, that could be conference or like any other source. That's also something that is creating more credibility.
Mhm.
But I really appreciate more when somebody could like some of my like people that I've been working with, like product managers, like founders and others could recommend me. That's not only the best source because people usually believe more in people, not into content or any advertising, but it's also a sign for me that the work that we've done before with these person who's recommending me to like another friend or colleague, that was great. And they are happy about the outcome that we got. And they also want to recommend me.
My question here is, how did you find your first client?
Let
Which
me
pays
remember.
you? You
I
don't
don't
remember?
know. Yeah, I remember. So when I just decided that I want to try advising, I had a mentor at that time. And we've been working for 1 year. We've been developing like product strategy skills, like people management. And I also shared with him that I want to start as an advisor and ask if he has any friend that is working as an advisor. And he suggested me two people. And the one that was creating the platform for advisors, another one is also like working as an advisor. And I chatted with them like immediately after our call, and they shared a lot with me, and they also shared with me like what kind of experience they had, what kind of like work they currently working as an advisors and as a like creation as the founders of the platform for the advisors. And as far as I remember, one of them, like after like couple of weeks, told me that, hey, there is like a client that we can't manage. So you could take them and we will just get some like percentage from what you're having. And another one, when they launched the platform, it also was like they had the clients and they suggested me to register into the platform, and they also like rated me with the client. So that were two clients, but they are more official ones. Before that, I was also like advising on the free basis, and that were like different product managers who were like, how Miro has so great onboarding experience, or like sharing reality or anything like that. So could you share like how did you work on that? And that was like that. It was about like 4 or 5 different companies that we had about like 2, 3 calls. So when I've been sharing my experience and helping them to identify growth opportunities for them as well.
Okay, before we start discussing money, how to be paid for your work and how you decided how much it will cost, let's discuss what do you do right now as a daily basis? What the growth advisor does?
It really depends on the day. It really depends on so I could just describe the average day that I have. So I do like to wake up early in the morning and practice some sport. I also like go for a walk with a dog. It's usually in the forest or somewhere else. And afterwards, like having my breakfast and focusing on some work tasks. There could be some sessions, so like some preparations for some async work, content creation, or anything like that. Actually, usually the session starts like after lunch or just before the lunch, because in the morning I really need some time to focus, to think how could I like grow the client base, or how could I like develop more as a professional or anything like that. So after that, I could have like 3 hours of sessions with some time between them, just to have some water and other stuff. And like in the evening, we usually go somewhere for dinner, or we could also like go somewhere to practice any other stuff. So for example, yesterday I went to free diving course in the evening, and that's also kind of a part of my routine.
And
Usually, like taking into account the whole week, it's usually like
yes.
3 working days, like Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday when I have sessions. It's about like 3, maximum 4 sessions per day, just because I really need some time to prepare for them, as well as like to be super focused. And on Wednesday and Friday, it's just async work. It's usually like that. Sometimes I could play something, but now I'm like rescheduling everything to make it better work for me. And some async work like content creation, like contracts, agreements, NDAs, and other things. So that's all about that.
I'm trying to understand how your session looks like. So, for example, I'm a founder and I come to you and ask, like, Vicky, I would like to grow, for example, grows double. And how you provide your sessions? Do you give advice because you're advisor, or do you ask question, prepare some documents, metrics? Could you
Um,
describe it more
Sure,
if
sure.
it's possible?
So
Yeah.
it's really customizable because every client is different. Every client has different needs as well as like different resources and everything. So when we have the first call, and it's usually like 30-minute call when it's free and we just trying to understand if I could work, because sometimes I'm not the best person for work because like just usually I mention to people that I'm not the marketing specialist, so I'm not the person who's like driving new leads through paid acquisition or anything like that. There are a lot of people who could do it much better than I. And so we identify the key goals, what they want to do and what they want to achieve. I also asking questions regarding the company, what are the metrics, what are the team, because as an advisor, I'm not like doing hands-on work. It's for example, it's not something that it's a lot about operations, and it's also like could be not scalable for me, and it could be not too expensive for the client. So I usually I really want, and the best case when it works, when the company has like one person, at least one person, or better the team, who could help and like got this knowledge that I'm sharing, and keep this in the company and also like provide the outcomes for the business. And I'm really eager to support them the best way I can do it, because again, like I'm mostly interested in the results because it's also about my case. It's also about what I really want to do for the company, but it's not only depending on me. It's also depending a lot on the team that is getting this knowledge. So we are finding this out for 30 minutes, agreeing what could be the next steps. And in case everything is good for everybody, we are like signing the agreement and further stuff. And sometimes we also have like plans on what we could do. We always have the goal. We always like and check this goal every session if we are moving in the right direction, if we are really defining the growth opportunities or any other goal that they could have. It actually works in the same when I'm mentoring product managers. So because it's really important to clearly understand where we are moving. Yeah, like 1 or 2 hours per week for the company when we are discussing, like really depends on the case, when we are discussing what are the growth opportunities, what are the metrics and everything like that, I always recommend and ask for the questions, because when the person is prepared for the meeting, that is something that is making our collaboration like 100 times more effective. It's really like that. I also could facilitate our sessions, but again, like when you have specific context, when you have specific question and everybody is going like prepared, not only like the person who's an advisor, that's just could bring really great outcomes out of sessions.
Yeah, definitely agree, because I feel the same in the mentoring. Doesn't matter. I'm a mentee, somebody is a mentee. If this person prepared and he or she can ask super specific questions, it's really helpful because you will get action items which you can implement tomorrow, today, and it helps you grow because doing something, you grow, your product is grow. Definitely
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. But at the same time, I also prepare my questions on the sessions just to help to facilitate it more in case person like is not ready. But again, like I have like about 60 or 70% of clients who are getting ready before, and I'm also like remembering them that, hey, we are having session tomorrow, so please prepare some questions so we could have some focuses, and after that we could also like discuss what I prepared. But again, like it's crucial.
And how do you prepare your sessions?
So based on our goal that we have,
Mm-hmm.
I creating a list of the questions that we could discuss
Mm-hmm.
on the go. Like if you're talking about like growth advising sessions, it's about that. And I could also describe some cases from my experience when we've been working on that. So that could be also value for them. And they could also like maybe have any questions regarding like what kind of experiments and like stuff I launched and what results we got. So that's more about that. And as for the mentoring session, it's also, so as soon as we are creating the individual development plans, we also have like some previous discussions. There could be a lot of questions regarding that. So I usually making notes about each session.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter if it's mentorship, no matter like if it's devising, I have like notes in Notion about every session, which really help me to prepare, first of all, to keep the context, and all in all, like to try to provide the better outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agree. Notes, like notes are the best in your every meetings, in your every sessions. Doesn't matter, to be honest. You are product advisor or PM's mentor. Yeah. And let's a bit discuss conflict situation. For example, first demo, first calls was super great. You understand that you can help the team, the company understand that you can help them. Everything is good. But in the middle, for example, you and the company can have a conflict. Did you have such situation, having a conflict with your client?
It never happened to me. Maybe
Why?
this is like 3.5 years and it's not enough for the conflict. On the other hand, I personally trying to gather feedback from the clients when I'm working with, like after 3, 4 sessions, and afterwards also on a regular basis, just to be sure that what we could improve in our sessions, how we could drive better outcomes. That's definitely something that is helping, as well as like really don't remember any of them. Would happen, or if it will, hopefully not. When I understand that I'm not the person who could help, I would always could outline that, like, because being honest, it's one of my main life principles, like
Mm-hmm.
for yourself first and for others as well.
Let's discuss money. And first question, like how you decided to ask money, be paid for your work.
I think it's just an obvious step that is coming
Mm-hmm.
after you realize that you're providing the value. So before, as I mentioned, I was like advising for free, and it was just a fun and also like new experience for me. Afterwards, I've seen that there are a lot of, not a lot of, but still there are people who are taking money for that. And I also felt that I'm providing the value. And that was two main reasons why I decided to do that. My existing pricing model is not the best one. I think it's always the experimentation that is happening here, just because uh, it's like experimentation as well as like research. So for me, I'm checking like how many other advisors are like taking for my friends. And I'm also like trying to understand what is the optimal number for me. So checking the market, like checking the demand that is happening to my time and to my engagement. And yes, like always in experimentation stage.
I understand. Like for me, it's not super clear how to find advisors to us to make this research because if we compare mentors, we have a lot of marketplace and we can see their prices, and it helps me as a mentor to understand, for example, how I can take how much I can take. But speaking about advising, yeah, I guess we need to find the same advisor like Vicky, for example.
Yeah, it's again like it's two steps. So first of all, it's like about how many others advisors getting, and it's
Mm-hmm.
also about the demand that is happening on your time. So for example,
Yes.
oh, I really oversubscribed. So I'm not ready to take like new clients right now. And I'm also like, there are some projects that I'm waiting for answers to, but it's just the time that I'm saving for myself and for this kind of client that I want to work with. But at the same time, now I'm trying to rethink a little bit the pricing model, just not to like, not about like decrease, increase, or anything like that, but make it more convenient for me and for the clients that I'm working with. It's
Mm-hmm.
not only about like always increasing something, but it's also about like finding the best option that is working for everybody.
And could you share a bit how do you plan your work and your budget? Like, for example, how you know that right now you don't have time to take new client? How do you understand it?
It's about the schedule. So which I have the list of the client that I'm working with. I also have the everything in the Google the calendar, which is pretty simple, and it seems to me that everybody's is using that. And as for the time, I also have some restrictions for me. So how many clients I'm ready to work with in a specific time period. On advising, it's definitely not more than 6 companies at a time. So it's just maximum. As for mentorship, it's a little bit different, and depending on what it's like, if it's happening like on a weekly basis, bi-weekly, or anything like that. And yeah, for mentorship, it really depends. But overall, I would say it's no more than 10 people with a different type of engagement, or like 10 different clients. But 10 is like maximum, because for advising, what I really outlined for me, I really need to be focused in order to be productive and provide the better outcomes. And I'd rather focus more on the client that they have rather than taking the new one, not being sure that I could provide the value enough.
And how do you plan your budget?
As for the budget, so I usually plan some expenses, and I have a special template in Google where I just write down all that I'm spending and trying to predict. Like, it's not about prediction overall. It's I think that the best advice that I got about being an advisor and consultant and planning the budget was not planning it on a monthly basis, as everybody is doing like on the full-time job, but it's rather like quarterly or even like 1 year budget, just because it's not advising is not the work when you're getting the same amount of money every month. So it's definitely, so for example, in 1 month I could get really small amount just because on the previous months I got a lot, or
I guess your mindset a bit changed.
a lot. A lot. It was really it was really hard for me at the beginning. It was super hard because just imagine when you had these like regular payments which are coming to your bank account every month. It's like it's like a drug. So it's really complicated to move into another thinking and model of like earning money. It's still in the process for me, so I'm still calculating a little bit in the months on the monthly basis, but yeah, more on the yearly and more on the quarterly basis now.
Yeah, because 1 month you have a lot of money, 1 month you almost don't
Yeah,
have.
it really depends on like agreements, invoices, like situations with the bank or
Yes,
anything
yeah,
like that.
yeah. And it impacts to your expenses. I guess you need to be focused how to expense.
uh
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So especially in the first months when I didn't have a lot of clients and when it was really complicated to plan anything, I decided to like stop some spendings and be more accurate with the money I'm spending. After that, I also really became more thoughtful when the question is coming to expenses. At the same time, some months I'm not like tracking it really well, which I really also want to improve. And yeah, that's something that I could that I'm okay with for like 1 month in a year, like 2 months in a year. But it's really a good habit. Like no matter if you're in a full time, like part time, like any other time, planning money and expenses is a good habit and a good skill.
Yeah. And do you have savings as a
Sure.
solo entrepreneur? And I'm trying to understand, as a company, you need the savings for the company. But here, you are a company and you are a person. And I'm trying to understand, differentiate you do you differentiate these two savings, or you just one bucket
I
savings?
don't assume, I don't think about myself as a company and the person. I'm the person.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I do is that I'm planning the budget for my learning. And
Uh-huh.
that's actually something that I also did before. As for the other expenses, such as like moving to any company to have some like, I don't know, like bank questions or other stuff like that, that's also that I'm taking into account as a person. I have the spendings in order to develop my business further, in order to like grow the clients base and everything like that. So it's just what I have. So it all big I think that the beginning was when I was thinking about my life, and I really didn't want to divide life and work in terms of like, this is work and pay. I'm a different person, like between like from 9 to 5 and from other time. That's why I didn't plan it that way. But it's a good insight. Maybe it's a good question to ask others about that. For me, in my opinion, it's adding more complications
Mm-hmm.
because you need to take into account two different budgets. And for now, it's not something that I see value into, but maybe somewhere in the future that will be reasonable.
Yeah, because I've heard that some founders pay themselves from the company, so maybe in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah, it's a different situation, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they having a company, I'm not having a company right now, so I'd rather like I'm I am a company for myself. So when I'm working with other, for example, I'm working with a partner, we launch like onboarding report and other
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So we are also like thinking about ourselves as the solopreneurs working together right now. Maybe one day we will want to found a company. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And final question about this advice and your experience. What do you like the most in your current work situation? I don't know how to describe it in your life. Yeah. What do you like the most in your current life?
Sure. So I think that I could divide it into two different sections. The first one is like what is driving me the most about my advising work. And that's about driving outcomes and providing like learnings and knowledge for different clients and different companies around the world. So it's really, this diversification is something that has given me opportunity uh to 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 get more outcomes in terms of like different companies, as well as like it also helping me to diversify my experience and get a really great speed of development and really great learnings that no one company in the world could give. That's the first point, and the second one about development. The third is it's definitely about the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have freedom to like to travel to work with anybody who I really want to choose which life I want to live. And I would say that this is a freedom is the base that I really want to keep no matter what is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Vicky is so inspiring, to be honest, because I've seen how Vicky works with international companies from not super small city, but I had a bias that if you would like to work with international company, you need to be located, for example, in some big cities. But at the in the Viking experience, I understand that it's not necessary, and you can combine. For me, it's the most like inspiring thing in your experience. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it really depends on the person because every person
Yeah.
is different. Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you learning? Like, what you really want to? It's something that is happening from you, but for sure, like, what is around you is also matters a lot. And when I'm thinking a lot is about so my friends, my like colleagues that I'm working with, and like others. And what I also found out that when traveling around the world, like about 6 months per year, it's something that is also providing a lot of great contacts and like new
Hmm.
great people around. And we are living in the world when there is an internet, there is
Yeah.
like amazing Zoom and other products that are providing web conferences. And
Yeah.
that's also something that is helping to be
Yeah.
more connected to the community and to the people that matters for you.
Yeah. I also remembered remote work, remote possibilities right now,
Yeah,
but
just a
everything.
couple of years ago, there were no opportunity to even chat with a person like in a
Yeah.
person. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah. The world is changing. And let's discuss two topics. Topics number one about teaching PMs. I'm super curious about it. And in the end, we will discuss your plans. So, regarding the teaching PMs and being a mentor, my question here is why did you decide to mentor PMs?
good question. Love it. So, first it came to me when I realized that I want to develop as a people manager like before. And for me, like being a mentor is a really important part of people management. Although a lot of people just forget about that, people management is definitely not only about like helping others to be more productive at work, but it's also like helping people driving better outcomes and grow in their positions and as a professionals. So overall, I really want to try this opportunity for me. And first of all, it was same as for advising. I started as a free mentor, and I was mentoring about 5 people when I've been working at Miro for a year. Some of them were like for 4 months, some were a longer period of time. And what I realized that I also like seeing that I'm providing the value. And I really love this part of work right now as well, because when you work in a person, it's it's something that is creating a really great collaboration when you see the person is growing, and sometimes it's even faster to get outcomes when the person is on mentorship, because it's not only about the product, but it's also about the person who started thinking differently and who started like providing like just having better skills, having better outcomes on the business. But there is stage before that that is also noticeable and really important. Yes, so that's something that I love the most about mentorship, and that's something that's because like why I started to be a mentor for the product managers.
Thanks a lot for sharing it. I have the same thoughts, especially for me. I'm growing my people management skills, and I really love to help people. And the same, I love how they change their mindsets because
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
easy to teach your hard skills like A/B test, something like that, but changing the mindset, it's a
Mm-hmm.
bit harder. Yeah.
Yeah. What I would say that the product is also, it's cool to grow the products, but the product is really abstract but when you're growing the person could be more like more happy about that, sharing some positive feedback, as well as like product managers. They are especially I mean, they could grow really fast from middle to senior and for other grades. And when you see that there is not only business outcomes, which matters a lot for sure, but also like some personal changes, that is something that I notice a lot, and that is something that creates a really great collaboration for that.
And also, I know that you have a course for product managers. Could you tell us more about
Sure,
it?
sure. So there is one course that we had with Denise, and it's about product growth, where we helping people to create a really draft and growth strategy, starting from the strategy draft, diving into specific growth loops that you could create in your product, experimentation, like launching experiments and analyzing them. So we are providing a lot of like great templates that I personally used at Miro, and the practices, and like a lot of frameworks and use cases and cases that we worked by ourselves. And yeah, we are launching a new cohort in March. So just feel free to jump into that. And I would say that right now it's more than 100 different PMs who
Wow.
went through this course, maybe even more. I didn't calculate it properly right now. Yes, and with Kate, we also launching a course this spring that will be mostly focused on the onboarding experience and taking product growth as well. So we are now on the like definition stage of this course in order to understand what we could share with everybody so people could get the most out of that for their product, for their skills. So the impact will be great. So
Yeah,
still
yeah.
defining that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Vicky. I guess, guys, if you're interested in these both courses, we will add links below in the description, and you can always find it. And of course, you can find Vicky's LinkedIn URL where you can write and communicate more with Vicky about her experience. And the final part of today's conversation is your plans. So, what is your plans, future plans?
Good question. So I always have the goals for the year as well as like goals for the 5 years. And I also shared a lot my template for that. So could share it here as well in case it's needed. And what I know that I really want to keep this freedom in my life. And as for the advising, I really want to focus more on the onboarding experience and product-led growth in the next couple of years, or maybe it will change no matter. Like it's really what I really want to do is to have this freedom, do what I love. It could be advising, it could be mentorship, it could be like any other thing that is coming to my mind and I want to try. And there also be taking care about my life principles and follow them just because they matters a lot for me. I want to work with great companies and see how my clients are growing. Like no matter if my client is a product manager or the product that is growing. So in case we should say like high level, that's my plans. In case more specific ones, it's like launching a couple of new courses just to be sure that different people could have access to my knowledge and learnings, because not everybody could work with an advisor. And I'm really passionate about sharing like my knowledge and see how different people getting outcomes out of that. So that's first point. Another thing is that it's about travel a lot with within different countries, and for example, like New Zealand, Mexico, and like other stuff. Also, develop a lot of like other skills that really matters for me right now. So I want to empower my skills in monetization. That's the first point. And another one is like uh, getting more knowledge about launching the product from zero. I already had a lot of knowledge regarding that and been working with different clients. But in case I see like onboarding, product-led growth and everything like that, monetization is something that I'm interested the most. And I've already took like several Reforge courses on that. So I really want to be a professional into pricing, packaging, and business model definitions. And yeah.
Great plans, and it's super, I guess, helpful for you and interesting for me that you are also thinking about your learning. I guess it's a main
Yeah,
part.
exactly. Because when you're a solopreneur, it's a time when you really need to create a structure for yourself because there is no company that is creating this structure automatically.
Yeah.
So I also have my individual development plan for me. And I really understand what I want to learn like this half of the year and year all year. So that is definitely something that is helping me to create the structure in the learning process, but there are a lot of other parts of the work that should be also structured, and I'm still in the progress.
Uh, it's great. I super happy to hear that you love the process and it's the main point. For fully responsible for yourself, for your company, for your growth. I really feel this responsible in your mind, in your hands. It's really good.
Maybe because I'm a really I'm a kind of the person who is like want everything to make perfect. So what I could see is a lot of things that are not done, but it's also something that I'm working on right now with my psychologist because it's really complicated when you want to make everything perfect.
Yeah. As Puna said in the previous episode, the perfectionism is the enemy of the success. So the main
Exactly.
point you are doing, and it's a great you are doing, and you can compare yourself from the years ago, and you have definitely changed. And
Yeah,
thanks a
that's
lot,
true.
Vicky. Guess we're done. So, guys, if the podcast was valuable for you, please like it and share with your colleagues, friends, because Vicky is super inspiring, and I hope she will inspire you to start maybe advising or thinking about your career. If we forget something or you have questions, also comment and ask us, and don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in growing your career.
It was really great to join your podcast and share my knowledge, insights, and everything about myself.
Thanks, Vicky. See ya. Bye.